I want to get off into your expertise
Okay.
because to me you're an expert at this. You know what I'm saying? I watch you and I listen to you all the time, man, your lives, and I'm gonna give you an opportunity, man, to shout out your Instagram or whatever else that you got going on or trying to generate, you know what I'm saying, at the end of this segment. You know, I want to give you that opportunity too. But right now I want to pick your brain on I want to pick your brain on uh politics. Of course, you know that we just had a mayor election. Lori Lightfoot, she was replaced by Brandon Johnson. Um, I thought Paul Vallis was gonna win, man. You know, he was looking good. I really did think that he was gonna win it. You know, I remember Paul Vallis. He was the superintendent when I was in school. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, all the stories and all that stuff, you know, I kind of was familiar with some of the stories, you know, with fires, you know, how you know how they play dirty in politics, you know. So I kind of knew, you know, I kind of was familiar with some of them things. But let me ask you this. So, you know, we did not lean towards Paul Vallis. And I'm not gonna say it's a black or white thing. I mean, you know, Brandon Johnson had some powerful endorsements. You know, he had Bernie Sanders come and endorse him. You know what I'm saying? That's major. We love Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, he did the walk with Dr. Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we familiar with Bernie here. So, you know, when we see Bernie, we love Bernie. Bernie won here. If he could have been a president, he won Illinois, right? He won this state, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he won the state. So, you know, this his town. So when he came, that made a huge impact, I believe, you know, from where I sit. But let me ask you this. Do you think Brandon Johnson will be better than Lori Lightfoot?
No.
And if so, why or why not?
No. It's going to be the same. And the reason being is because the reason why is because all we did is replace a progressive with another progressive. That's it. You just replacing. It's just a male now. The policies are very similar, if not exactly the same. I give you for one instance. And so, first of all, some of the policies he's trying to pass, they've been already tried before and blocked. I'll give you an example. The transaction tax. A transaction tax is when you try to charge like a brokerage, an exchange brokerage like the Chicago Board of Trade, when you try to charge them for every transaction traded on the stock market, a 5 cent, 10 cent, or 20 cent tax on top of those exchanges. These things are moved. They could be moved to a virtual server with a VPN all across the nation and avoid the tax and still trade. That's why that
Mhm.
won't work. He tried to implement a Chicago city tax. I remember they threw that out there about 5 years ago. If you made $100,000 or more, he wanted to give you a city income tax. So you mean to tell me that if I got to pay federal tax, state tax, and now you want to levy a city tax on me? No. They
Mm,
already. Matter of fact, he got so much backlash, he pulled the proposal off the table. Then
mm,
he tried to charge a surcharge, a metro surcharge tax. Because in his head, affluent people that work in the suburbs, they work in the city and take their money back out the suburbs. Like you don't
mm,
have suburbs like Phoenix, Dalton, Harvey, Calumet that's not affluent. Bellwood,
mm,
come on. So he took that off the table because guess what? He got backlash. They tried this stuff before. He's doing nothing different, and everything he's trying to implement, Laurie's already doing right now. One thing I give Laurie credit, because me personally, I voted Billy Wilson. But one thing I get, if Laurie would have went in the runoff against anybody, I'd have went with Laurie because she invested the most money in black and brown communities, especially black communities, than any other mayor has. Almost
mm.
$1 billion. But Brenda
Okay.
Johnson, he's running policies and programs. And one thing I'm scared about Brenda Johnson too, why he's not going to fit, not going to do any better, is because none of his stuff that he's doing is changing what needs to be changed. He's just saying the right things. He's not doing nothing to change. When you're talking about pension crisis, we talk about crime, his policies are weak. And we're gonna see. I want him to do well because now it's like a person driving a car. You want them to get you that safety no matter who driving, regardless. You want them to win because you it's gonna benefit you as well. But I know that what he's implementing isn't going to work at all.
Mm.
Matter of fact, Laurie, I'll give you another one that's very similar. Laurie was trying to pass contracts for LGQBT. Like if you were gay, pretty much if you was gay, you can get a slice of the pie of the city contracts. Like what does your sexual orientation have to do with you receiving a windfall of money to do a project? So what he's doing is proposing the same thing in the form of union dues. So now union jobs. Hey, because right now they piggybacking off black discrimination. Say, hey, black people face the same discrimination. They moving us out the way and just saying, hey, we feel like we're like black people discriminated because your sexual orientation, but your sexual orientation, who you in bed with, don't matter. You should not get a job based on who you sleep with. It should be on your skill set. If you know how to change rebuild an engine, and you cold at it, you should get paid worth your because you cold at it, not because you sleep with somebody of the opposite sex. So that's why he's not going to be no more effective or no less effective than what we already have.
That's deep. So would you say that he pretty much knows the culture? He knows what we whine about, what we cry about when we cry about it, and he campaigned on it for the
Yep.
most part. You know, nothing will change because everything that possibly can be in effect is already in effect right now without it just getting slapped and tossed to the side with a just complete fat no, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the policies are weak because there's no addition to them, there's no advance to them. He's piggybacking off policies that are already in action or in transition for the most part.
Pretty in play.
That's safe to say. Is that
And
safe to say?
it's very safe to say. And I double down on that. Very safe to say. Matter of fact, Laurie, when he talks about sending out counselors on most calls now instead of all policemen, Laurie just implemented that 2 weeks ago. He takes office in May, so she's still mayor all the way up until May.
Yeah.
So he's gonna when he inherits the mayor and say he's gonna do this thing, it's already being done. So it's gonna look like he's doing it, but he really didn't do it.
Everything was in progress.
Thing was in progress.
Okay.
And now that the see what happened with the Illinois election is that they made collective bargaining into the state constitution, which now gives the CTU union or any union extreme power. That they power so big that you can't write a law against it. Now CTU was only able to they used to only able to strike and fight over pensions. I mean not pension benefits and school issues, classroom issues. Now they fighting over social issues. They could strike over climate change now. They could strike over
Mm.
immigration. They could strike over homelessness. Those wasn't real issues like teacher conditions and benefits. That's all they could strike. The teachers, like smaller classroom size, books and stuff like that. They was confined to that. Now they have implemented in the state, and you got a CTU organizer as the mayor.
Mhm.
Oh, they finna have their way. You know, $8 out of every union dude went toward his campaign, which I disagree with. That's not right. You up there funding a person you probably don't even like.
That's tough. Don't even know.
Don't even know. He from
Because I didn't
Elgin.
know who he was. I didn't know. I didn't have a clue who he was.
Because he born and raised in Elgin. And he only taught 4 years. He wasn't no 10-year veteran teacher. Just like Laurie came out the blue from Ohio. Nobody knew who she was. She just popped up. Another progressive. He's just a man now.
Mm.
And Bernie Sanders, like Bernie cool to an extent. Me, it's a lot of stuff I don't agree with Bernie, but I understand he mean well. But Bernie, he all the way from a whole nother state, and he in a Chicago politics.
Mm-hmm.
Possible. That's how bad they wanted him to win.
Mm.
So yeah, he ain't gonna do no better, no worse, no better, no worse.
A presidential candidate come and endorse you. That's major.
Man,
That's that's top flight.
that's
That's top flight. When I saw it, I say that was different.
yeah,
Yeah, they call it big guns.
yeah. They needed him to win.